Hello, welcome to the Birdsong Knits podcast. My name is Elaine, and this is a knitting and crochet and yarny goodness podcast where I talk about what I've made recently and what I am currently making and what I am dreaming about making. I don't have a lot of dreaming lately because I have so many works in progress that I can't fit any new ideas in my brain, which is okay. It's okay. I'm really enjoying all of my projects, so I'm just embracing my works in progress, and I'm sure by next week some of them will be off the needles and there will be room for new stuff in my head. So let's jump right in and get started. One quick thing, you can find me on Instagram at birdsong_knits, and the link is in the description below. I am trying to get started again on Instagram, so I got one story out last week. I know I could do better. Instagram is interesting. There's just like a shift in the way you think about the things you're experiencing in order to record them and capture them on Instagram. Like, I literally just don't think about it. I haven't been using Instagram for 5 years, so it is a bit of a just getting those wheels turning again. So anyway, you won't find too much there now except for historical pictures, which there's plenty of, but I'm trying to get active there as well and sharing what I am working on each week. Okay, so let's start with finished objects. I have one, and I have been working on this in my head for a long time. I promised it to someone 18 months ago, and I have finally done it. And I did it in 3 days. I did it in 3 days, but it's a stuffy, and stuffies are not easy for me. And unfortunately, this poor little otter is going to show you how hard stuffies are for me. Because he has a face only a mother could love. Look at these crazy whiskers. Look at that. Oh, they're crazy. My son said to me, he's really cute. I love him. His whiskers are a bit weird. So true. So this is an otter. I'm still kind of working through name ideas for him. Camera's so weird. Of course, there's Ollie, or Otto, which I think are pretty typical otter names. Oswald. They don't all have to start with O. The boy who's going to receive this is a big Potter fan, so I was thinking about Potter the otter. I don't know. He can name him. He doesn't need me to name him. All right, so the pattern I got from Etsy, and although I did successfully make an otter, there were definitely moments with the pattern where I would have liked more detailed information. I particularly struggle on stuffies with assembly. I made an elephant not too long ago. It was in I think my first episode back, and that assembly went together quite well, but the instructions were so clear. This exact stitch is where, between this stitch and this stitch is where you're going to sew on the legs, etc. And the instructions for this did have some of those details. The arms, for example, should be further back on the side of the body, but the instructions said that they should be 8 stitches apart, which is how I attached them. I wish I had paused a little bit longer, because when I look at her pictures of her otter, definitely the arms are further back. So then they kind of would have stuck out straight, and I could have even attached them to the side of the body so they're not so floppy like this. But attaching them here doesn't feel right, because there's just not enough room for them to both sit that close together. So hopefully the little boy who receives this otter enjoys playing with his arms and moving them about. I did stitch the legs on upward a bit so that he looks kind of like he's more in a laying down position. He looks quite cute. He looks like he's I don't know how to show you here, but in my project page, which will be linked below on Ravelry, I took a picture of him laying in the grass, and I kind of propped it up so it looks like he's eating something with his paws, and his legs are up, and he looks like he's floating in the water, which is a cuter moment for this otter. And then there were mistakes that I made as well, not just things that weren't clear in the pattern, but I should not have attached his head before what do they call it when you're kind of shaping the face? So you're kind of tucking this material in so that it gives him a bit of feature, like shaping features. And I did it after I attached the head, which is not the right time because it should have, like where I attached the thread. So you come up through the head, come around the eye, go over to the other side of the eye and back in, do the same thing on the other eye, and then come back out at the bottom, and then you can kind of tug those two ends to pull in the face at the right places. And then you hide those ends down there inside the body when you stitch on the neck. But I did it in the wrong order, and so that did cause me a little bit of heartache, and he might be cuter. His head was super pointy at the top, which looked ridiculous, and I ended up, when I was doing this face shaping, I ended up going up there and pulling that down as well. So he's got like almost a kind of concave part in his head. It's like a newborn baby. He's got a hole in his head. But it's just, if for like looking at him all the time and typical face on way, he looks much better this way. So he's all right. I sent him to the mom of the boy that I'm gonna give him to, and she was very gracious and said all kinds of wonderful things. I sent a picture, which was very nice of her, because to me, he's imperfect, and that's okay. This little boy loves otters so much, and I hope that he loves this little fellow, even though he is imperfect. My son was a fan. They're the same age, and my son is not afraid to tell me when something is not cute. So, you know, it could just be my, well, as the maker, we're always harder on ourselves, aren't we? And we know, I also saw the picture of what I was trying to accomplish. Also, his muzzle is not quite right. It ended up too poofy. I think I stuffed it too much. If it was laying out a little bit flatter, he'd look a little better, but it's okay. I'm sorry I said all those things about you, friend. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna go to his new home, hopefully in the next day or two. So that is my only finished object. Like I said, that took me about 3 days. And the other thing about stuffies is, for me, it is focused activity, which is why it got postponed, at least partially why I got postponed that long, because I do a lot of mind listening. I'm watching something, or I'm talking to someone, or I'm walking, or whatever. I'm usually active in some way, mentally or physically, while knitting or crocheting. And for stuffies, I can't be. I have to count every row, and the assembly is just always the hardest part for me. A lot of focus. I'm doing my best. So anyway, I asked my friends' children 18 months ago what they all wanted, and I got 2 sweaters, a pair of socks, and an otter stuffy. And those socks were done right away. Now the otter's done. I have 2 children's sweaters to make. Let me show you. This is a second attempt at this otter. This is the second attempt. This was my first attempt, and I used a different yarn. So this was yarn. It's okay. I have my Ravelry because I don't have the labels. This was Yarn Bee. I got it at Hobby Lobby. Sorry, I didn't say this from the beginning. Yarn Bee Adorable solids, and then this is sandstone. His head. This is just brown, and then I use white for his. It looks like I put brown in there twice. Why did I do that? I don't know. Brown, sandstone, and this is actually called Angel, the white. And that is a size 5. But I started with, the first time I attempted this otter, which was quite a while ago, sometime in the winter. I wanted to do it in time for his birthday, but I missed it. This is a size 6, so this is also Yarn Bee, but it's Cozy Occasion. This is the color Hummus. This would have been for his head. And while I was making his head, I'd already made his arms and legs and the muzzle for the original otter. But when I made the head, I was like, wait, this is a really big head. You guys are looking at the back there. Let me turn this. This is like a really big head. It's as big as my head. I made myself a nice hat. It fits loosely. It's not even a good hat because it's not tight. I was like, this otter is huge. Way too big. So definitely the design involves a larger head, but can you see? Sorry, I get so confused by the camera. Yeah, it definitely shrank using a size 5. I think her pattern calls for a size 6 yarn, but which is why I chose it in the first place. But I just crochet quite large, more largely than others. So I couldn't use that yarn. So that was my first attempt, and I had to get rid of it. I threw away the arms and legs that I had made. I saved the head for you guys. The yarn is still attached, so that one I will just rewind, which will be good. I'll be able to save the sandstone yarn, and I'll use it for something else that I want to be big. Okay, that was my finished object. Boom, boom. And, oh, I was just going to tell you, I think I used size G hook. Yeah, it was a size G hook. So that's pretty tight for that yarn, and sometimes it did bother my hands a little bit, but not bad enough to stop me. I worked it out okay. All right, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 works in progress. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Let's start with the socks, shall we? If you saw the last episode, or is it the last 2? Maybe the last 2 I've mentioned it. I started 4 socks in about 24 hours. And I don't regret it. It's turning out great. Let me start with this one because I have a half finished object. So I've got one sock completely made, and this is a size US 9.5 women's. So this is one of the bigger socks that I've made. I also did 64 stitches because she's just she's very fit and muscular and strong, and I just knew those calves needed to be big enough for her. Although I tried these on and I thought they fit me quite well, and usually I like 60 stitches. So hopefully they fit her okay. This is a Yarnable yarn. Yarnable from January 2024. Yarnable is a yarn club where they'll ship you yarn each month. This is in the plush sock base, and it's 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. It's called, the colorway is called How Time Flies. I don't think you can get it anymore. I don't think she redoes her colors, but anyway, my friend who I'm making it for saw that finished, well, almost finished sock yesterday, and she said, oh, I'm so glad I picked that color. So I'm glad to hear that. So this is the second one. I made sure I got it cast on just so that I could keep moving with it. So I'll get the cuff done soon and move on to the leg. This was the last one that I cast on, and that seemed to give me some momentum. I don't know why, because I worked on this one the most. And it's not in, I love this bag. It's from Isabel B, and it slides over your arm so then you can knit while you walk or stand around and talk or do whatever. I was at co-op, a homeschool co-op with my son yesterday, and there are moments where I can knit and I pull this out and work on it, but I can move around with it easily if it can slide onto my arm. And I have the stitch markers on there to mark how many rows I did, which was 6 on the leg and I think 6.5. So that means, sorry, so 60 rows on the leg and 65 on the foot. I was going to say something else, and I used Magic Loop on a US 0 for these, and I almost always use my ChiaoGoo lace needles for that. Okay, one sock. This is for the woman that I'm making that sock for. This is for her daughter. This colorway, you guys, I'm just loving knitting this. There's been no repeats yet. I'm about to get into the repeat. I'm in the last color of the repeat, and this sock is just gorgeous. So much fun to knit. I love Freckled Whimsy's colorway. So this is Freckled Whimsy, and she also has a yarn club. She'll ship you yarn each month. So this was from July 2024. You can buy other stuff from her, but she also has a monthly self-striping club. My favorite, self-striping. I love it. I'm not in this club anymore, but someday when I knit up my sock yarn, I'll return to it. And this is 85-15 as well. 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. The colorway is Summer Garden Club. Did I say it's from July 2024? I think I did. 12 stripe repeat. Yeah, that's fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there's 2 more colors. So this one is the mini that came with it. It was a 100-gram skein for the main color. Look at that goodness. So perfect for this time of year with all the flowers coming into bloom. And then she, wow, what a mess. There's a 20-gram mini with it. This purple, I started the sock with the mini, which was silly in retrospect because it's self-striping. So it just looks like another stripe, which is fine, but it just was like a waste of ends. Okay, I'm gonna hold this up close. Oops, I dropped the label. No. So you can see that hot pink. And then hold it down, Elaine, so you can see it all. Okay, I don't know, I love it. It goes from blues to like a mauve, pale, purple. It looks brown from back there. Purple, and then blues, like bluish greens into green, into pink. So pretty. I'm very much enjoying this project. So far I've done 40 rows. I think I'll just do 50. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll just finish the repeat. Yeah, that's gonna be perfect. So I'll finish out the repeat probably on the stripes. That'll be about 10 more stitches. And 10 more rounds. And then I will start the heel, and I will do the heel in the contrast purple. This is also on a US 0 magic loop, but this is on my Addi unicorn needles, which I'm really enjoying. I gave them a medium review when I first tried them for the first sock, but the more I use them, the more I love them. All right, 2 more socks. And I dropped that label. Let me put that back here. Podcasting is a messy business. Things get thrown everywhere. All right, I think I worked on all 4 this week, but I feel like this one didn't get a ton of love. I can't remember where I was last time. Did I have, I think I have a heel flap done. Had I joined back in for the gusset? I don't know. I should mark these so that you know where I was last time. But I'm still in the gusset. So very little has been done on these. I'm like 5 rows into the gusset. So these are shorties. These are for my mom, probably for Mother's Day. Ooh, from that angle, look at that prettiness. Oh, I gotta keep working on these. So I did 5 rows for the cuff, 5 rounds for the cuff, and then went straight into the heel. I used the main color for the cuff, went into the heel with the contrast color, and back to the main color now for the gusset and the foot. I want these done for Mother's Day, so if I'm smart, I'll put more time in on them this week. I'm not gonna make any promises on how much of it I will get done, but I have about 2 weeks to finish it, so that's easy for a shorty sock. I don't know, words just left me. That's easy for a shorty sock, but when you're knitting 4 socks at the same time, you gotta be careful where you're focused or time will slip away. The yarn from this is, the yarn for this sock is Evergreen Fiberworks, and this is the colorway Vintage Leather Book, Vintage Leather Bound Book, Bitsy Set. And this is an 80-20 instead of an 85-15. So this is 80% merino, superwash merino, and 20% nylon. Here's the two. This one on my screen right now just shows up so much pinker, more like magenta, and in person it's deeply purple. It's definitely purple. Also using a size 0 Magic Loop ChiaoGoo needles, ChiaoGoo lace. The only thing I'll say about this, I did start with 60 at the ankle, just because the ankle's sometimes a bit smaller and you don't want it too loose on the ankle for a shorty sock. So I did 60 and I increased to 64 on the last row right before. My cat's going to use the scratcher. I'm sorry. Oh, he thought better of it. Just to make sure that the foot is 64 inches. So I did that right before the heel. I just thought of something I didn't tell you about. I didn't talk about the stitch count on the child sock, but I'll talk about it here on my son's now because they're both the same size. So this is the sock for my son. I want to be working on this more too. I'm going to work on it when he is at, actually this is what I posted on Instagram this week. I was working on this while he was at Taekwondo. So I just want to, you know, when I go to an event for my son, whether it's a lesson or something else, this should be the one I bring with, just so I keep making progress in his. These colors are amazing. These are such great colors. Aren't they like hunter camouflagey? I'm picturing like a mallard duck in the fall. I don't know. Could you hear my cat meowing? We call him the town crier. His name is Pippin, and he speaks for him and his brother, and he's just very noisy. All right, colors. So this is 56, no, not colors, stitches. This is 56 stitches, which seems to work well for my son, and my friend's daughter is about the same size as my son. So they're both, they have decent sized calves, so I just want to make sure that these have enough size in them to fit well. And I think they will. So far I've only done about 20 rounds on this sock, so it needs some more love. And I did the contrast mini for the first 5 rounds of the ribbing. Here are the two colors. What a mess. This is also Evergreen Fiberworks in the Biddy sock set. Biddy sock would mean, in this case, the Biddy part means it's only a 50 gram main color, 10 and a 20 gram mini. So this is in the Kingfisher colorway. Come on. Okay. I would like to put some time on all of those socks. How am I going to keep them all moving? I'm not sure. I think with 2 or 3 socks, I can be very methodical, like knit the leg on this one, put it aside to work on at TV time one night, and then pick up the mindless part again for when I'm moving, yeah, just when I'm out and about, when I'm walking, whatever. So then I could pick up the other sock and work on the leg while I finish the heel at home, you know. So it's a little easier with 2, but with 4, I'm like, I could work on many different socks and I don't know what to choose. And then this project, which you've seen many times already if you've been watching. So sorry this one is lingering. I'm working on it slowly. So this is a sweater for my nephew, and it is called the Sorgenfrei Full Over Jacket Mini. And I'm working on the sleeve, which is where I was last week, sorry. So this progress keeper up here is where I was. So basically at the beginning of the sleeve, and I'm at least halfway through, possibly more. I try to put on 1 repeat each night. I have been, but I'm kind of ready to just finish this. It would be a push for me to say I would finish it this week, just because I have a whole nother sleeve. At the very least, I would like to finish this sleeve and have this one picked up. That'll be my goal for this week. I'm not giving it to my nephew until July, so I have plenty of time, but I just don't want it lingering. So the yarn for this is, I have a label. I think it's Barocco. Is it Barocco? Yeah. Barocco Renew, which is 35% viscose, 30% wool, 30% nylon, 5% cashmere. And this is in the colorway it's a number on here, 1340, I think. I think it has a name when I put it into Ravelry, so let me look at that really quick. And then this is a size 3 weight, so like a DK. I showed you that. All right, I'll look that color name up really quick. Also, I think this yarn is discontinued, but I love it, and I wish it was not. Tortoise, 1340. Tortoise is the colorway. Let's see, how many skeins into this yarn am I? I just started a new one last night. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I'm just saving my labels to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just started my 5th. I just started my 5th color skein. And there's how much in it? It's only a 50-gram ball, which has 164 yards. So it'll probably end up being, I'll probably end up getting into the 6th. I could be wrong. I could just finish this ball. We'll see. I'm not sure. It could be 5 or 6 balls total. Okay, so there's that. Keep making progress on that. And then I did show this project before, and I don't think much progress has been made, but I'm going to share it anyway because I am working on it. This one, not much progress was made because I ran out of yarn, which I think is where I was last time I talked to you. Let's see if we can find a side with less ends. Nope. There's ends all over the place. I'm not sure why I'm not weaving them in as I go, but I'm not. What was I going to say? Okay, I originally bought, where do I want to start this story? I originally had some yarn from Premier, sorry for the noise, called Premier Serenity Chunky Tweed. I had 2 skeins of this color left, and I wanted to put it into a baby blanket, but I knew I couldn't finish a baby blanket with 2 skeins of this. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I looked for some colors that matched well in a similar size yarn, and I found this. I love this chunky color yarn, and I took these additional 3 colors and put them with this. I love this chunky. Is like I said, it's also size 5. It's very soft, you guys. There's 100 grams, 109 yards. And this one has 100 grams and 109 yards. So, good match. And they have gone together beautifully, but I did end up needing more than I thought. So I bought 1 ball of each the first time I went from Hobby Lobby, and it wasn't enough. I've put in a couple rows, but this is basically where I got, like, actually right here is where I got with the 1 ball. I don't need probably a full 2. It's gonna, and well, maybe I will just, we'll see. Like a nice long crib blanket. I don't want it to be too big because it is meant to be a baby blanket. I'm giving it to charity for babies. And then I waited a week because Hobby Lobby, when I ran out of the yarn, Hobby Lobby was in its week of full price yarn. So yesterday the yarn went 30% off again for the week, so I was waiting for that, and I got the yarn today. So I put in these 2 rows this morning. I will finish this week for sure, so probably in the next 48 hours. Charity, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm doing a pattern. I will include the link. Let's see if I can find the name of it real quick. I just had it pulled up because I had to refresh my mind on the pattern to get started again once I got the yarn. The link is in, oh, it's Ripple Stitch Crochet Blanket Pattern. Free and easy. It's on Treasury website. So I'll have a link to that. It's in my Ravelry project. I put the link to the pattern in my notes because it's not a Ravelry pattern. The one thing I don't love about this yarn choice is the variegated with this blue thrown in that looks so random and out of place, and I don't love that the white always falls on this side and the blue and purple always falls on this side, but it doesn't matter. This little baby is just gonna love the coziness and it's not gonna be a big deal. So I think that's it for that one. Oh, and I'm using a size 9mm hook, which is an M or an N. So it's fairly loose and drapey and cozy, and it's really nice. I should get started on those ends, shouldn't I? That's gonna be a fun way to finish. And then I started, while I was waiting, I had some yarn in the cabinet in my dining room, and that means I see it all the time. And I wasn't crocheting on any blanket because I was waiting for this one to get more yarn, so I had to start another one. So I pulled this yarn out. And I also have mixed feelings about the results, although generally I like it. So for this one, I used a shell stitch. And I'm gonna, oh, I don't have the, I'm trying to think where I have the link, because I don't think I put my pattern in. I don't think I started my project yet for this. I think it's called Guzzling Granny. Let's see. Yeah. So it is from secretyarnery.com, and this one is called Guzzling Granny. I found it through YouTube. This woman did a video of all her different granny patterns, and this one happened to be one of them, and I thought it was cute. So it is a shell pattern, which you can't tell at all from back there. There you can see the shell a bit better. So it was the yarn was mostly inspired by this yarn. It's sad looking now because there's not much of it left. I think I'm gonna have to do another project with this, with just this yarn, because I feel like what's happening is all the different colors are distracting from this yarn rather than complementing it, which was my goal. It has so many flecks, beautiful flecks, blue, dark blue, light blue, pink, there's a little bit of green, there's yellow. This is, I love this yarn, size 4 yarn, 100% acrylic. It is the fruit salad colorway. And I think it's great for, like, a great colorway for babies, although white maybe is not ideal. Having had a baby, I can say they get dirty. So anyway, I got these other colors. Also, I love this yarn. One of them is Yarn Bead. I'll show you the others in a minute. But maybe you'll have a different opinion. But when I look at this, I feel like the pink, the magenta is really dominating this blanket. These complement the color, I would say. They're not quite as high of a contrast, but there's enough of a contrast, like they're more complementary. And I feel like this magenta is just taking over the blankets. Like that's what your eyes are drawn to. Maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing, and maybe whoever receives this blanket will love that, I don't know. But to me, it's a bit overpowering. So I would also do this again. I'm not gonna rip it out, I'm gonna finish it. But I would also do this again with, definitely with these two colors. And then I would pull out a different color to replace this magenta. And I don't necessarily know what. It's kind of funny to me. It's not what I expected at all, because I almost did it all magenta and this other color. That's originally what I was going to do. I think this magenta is beautiful, and I thought they went together so well. I just didn't realize how much it would draw my eye. Also wondering if I had done like yellow, then magenta, then blue, or blue, magenta, yellow, instead of having these two together. Would that have changed the way I look at it a bit? I don't know. The yarn is wonderful. I love this yarn. I really do. It's so nice to work with. The drape on this is lovely. It's just going to make a great baby blanket. And it is fun. So it's fun to make. I think it's, you know, like a cute pattern. I think whoever gets it is going to enjoy it. I guess it's just not quite what I was expecting. So the yellow is Yarn Bee. Everything else is I love this yarn. I'll show you all of them. This one is Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek in the colorway Pale Yellow. This is 100% low pill acrylic, 142 grams and 232 yards. I think I'll have enough with what I have to make the whole blanket. This one might be the questionable one. Because this is a smaller skein. These two are smaller skeins. Yeah, these are the same. So these are 100% acrylic, 142 grams, 252 yards. Did the other one say it was? Okay. This yarn is a little bit thicker, I guess. Thinner. Thicker. So the same weight, 142 grams, but this one's only giving me 232 yards. This one's giving me 252 yards. It's funny because it didn't feel like that when I was stitching it up. I mean, that's a pretty small difference, but couldn't tell. So actually I have the same yardage. Okay, that's great. I actually have more yardage of this one than that yellow. I think it's going to be enough, but we'll see. If it's not, I will go buy more. And then I got this one, which does have more yardage. This one has 355 yards. I'll probably have some left over of this. This is also I love this yarn, but it's because it's a solid, it has more yardage at the same price, basically. They're giving you more for your $4.99. This is 199 grams, 355 yards, and it's 100% acrylic, and the colorway is turquoise. So this one I have 3 skeins of because I'm doing that color every other row, trying to get a lot in there. I thought it was going to be a very, I mean, I guess you could definitely see a lot of it. It's just not what draws my eye, which is so funny. Anyway, and I really like these two with it. I just don't love this with it. I'm gonna finish the blanket. It's okay. You know, sometimes, this is probably not true for everyone, but it is true for me. I don't know until I start making it. I did hold all these together at Hobby Lobby and thought they looked great. And it's not that they don't look great. I just couldn't foresee the impact of that magenta. I didn't know it until I was crocheting it up. So some people I'm sure are better at that and can see what's going to happen and catch that. I'm not good at putting colors together really. This one was easy in some ways because I was just pulling those different colors that were pops of color in the fruit salad. But anyway, this is how it goes with crafting sometimes. And I don't dislike it. I'm still enjoying working on it. And it's going to be a great blanket for somebody. So I'm using an eye hook for all of those yarns and the shell pattern. I think that was my 7 works in progress. So 2 baby blankets for charity, 1 sweater for my nephew, and 4 socks for other people. Plus I finished an otter for a friend. So that was my week in crafting. Next week is just going to be finishing these. So will something hop on my needles that I didn't anticipate? Probably. Yeah, there's a good chance that's going to happen. But for now, I'm just planning to finish these, and I think I should go get working on them. So I hope that you have a lovely week and enjoy your stitching or crafting in whatever form. Do something creative, and I will see you next week. God bless. Bye.